to get dressed because we're going out. I've just had to stop in the middle of the road because look at the view out of my windscreen right now. Even Winston's looking at it. Hey? That's just spectacular. Okay, so we've just arrived at the car park and I'm already absolutely blown away by the views. It's really weird. I was driving back from getting fuel yesterday and I saw all this green countryside and then these white mountains behind, and I remember thinking to myself, God, this looks amazing, what is that? And then who knew that it's actually what I'm hiking today. So we're hiking Hay Bluff, which is, if I can get it right, up this one. Now, if Winston handles that okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to go up Hay Bluff, then we're going to go across the top, and we're going to go across to Lord Hereford's Knob. That's what it's called. I'm not going to say that again, I'm just going to call it Lord Hereford's. But it's spelled K-N-O-B, so it's like doorknob. So yeah, we might end up going up Hay Bluff and then coming down again, but hopefully we can get up Hay Bluff and get across to Lord Hereford as well, and then do a loop and come back again. But it all depends how the climb up goes. But yeah, we'll let you know. So we are among sheep, the bush is there, but also horses. Winston's not bothered, he's not going to bother them, but yeah. But there, you can see him better now because of these white blaze. So as you can see, it's steep and it's slippy and it's icy, and just coming up that bottom bit there, I was thinking to myself, if I came really unprepared for this, should I have a pair of crampons on? It's like them spikes that stick into the snow when you're walking, because it's steep and it's icy. I thought, am I going to get up it? But a couple that just came walking down, I said morning to them, and I asked them, I said, have you guys got crampons on? And they said no. They said you can still do it. I said, we've been up and down, take it steady, you can still go. So he said once you get past this icy bit, it turns into more snow anyway. So yeah, we're going to keep going, but I do think a pair of crampons would have made this much easier. We're not at the top yet, but I couldn't help but turn around and see this. There's the van. So I leave Winston to climb on his own. Now I wouldn't do this with just any dog, but Winston is an experienced hiker. He's been doing this for most of his life. I also know that if I need to, I can get him to wait where he is. I can get him to go to the left, to go to the right, or to come back to me if I need him to. He's also brilliant at following trails, navigating terrain, so for those reasons, I leave him to it. So in some areas, the snow's quite deep. I thought I lost my leg then. That is deep. I'm surprised I've not lost Winston yet. He sinks in it, you won't be able to see him. Hay Bluff is 2,221 feet high. It's one of the highest peaks in the Black Mountain area, and we just reached the top. So we made it to the top of Hay Bluff. Now, we were going to come up and then go back down, or possibly see about going across to Lord Hereford's. I don't fancy going down the way that we just came. It was very steep, and obviously it was slippy and icy, and yeah, I don't feel safe going down it. So we're going to walk across the top that way toward Lord Hereford's. Now, before you get to Lord Hereford's, there's a dip and then it goes back up again. That dip is quite gradual, and it also rejoins the road that we are parked on, and it's a very, very quiet road. So what I'm going to do is going to walk across the top, go down the dip, and then see how we feel at the bottom of the dip. It might be that we then just pick up the road and go back to the car, or we could do a slight incline again and then reach the top of Lord Hereford's. It all depends on how the walk is going to be across the top. It's a lot better because it's flatter, and obviously you're not on an incline. The problem is the snow's quite deep, so sometimes you're kind of falling down it a little bit. For me, it's not that bad. At some point it came up to just below my knees, but for Winston it's a lot of hard work for him, because when he obviously goes down in the snow, he's got to get back out, and obviously he's not as tall as I am, so it's a little bit more hard work for him. So I'm thinking that it might be too much hard work to get him across to Lord Hereford's, but we might be able to get across the road, which will be a steadier decline rather than going down the way that we came. But there's meant to be a really good viewpoint just down there, so we're going to go and have a look at that first, because there's some amazing views over there and we can't see them from here, although this is the Trig Point area. So let's go check that out first. So we just went through a real deep bit where Winston almost disappeared and he needed help getting through it. Tried to use my jacket and some leads to make a sled for him, but it just didn't work. So in the end I just had to put a lead around his harness handle. He's got his harness on underneath all them, so I flipped his coat forward, wrapped the lead around his harness handle, and then kind of held him up a little bit as we walked. So he was still sinking, but not sinking as much because I was taking some of his weight. I was kind of, I don't know if you can see in my shadow, I was kind of holding him, and then he was on the edge of the lead. But yeah, it was far too deep for him, bless him. He did almost disappear at points. Look at this, guys. Winston, come up this way. So there's the car park where we started. A few more people in it now, but it's about there. I'm going to do this next bit in voiceover because you can't hear what I'm saying through the wind. But basically the track that we were meant to be following is up there, but it's very deep in snow. So what we were doing is we were walking along the side of the mountain where the sun had melted the snow. Now in the distance, I believe that that peak there, that is Lord Hereford's, which at this point I had decided we weren't going to do today. Although this was a lovely walk across the top for me, it is still very difficult for Winston. So my goal at this point was just to get us down safely and in one piece. So the plan was to keep going, to go down the dip, and then to pick up this road all the way back to the car park. Now just before going down the dip, I managed to capture this footage of Winston, which looked as though he was just stood on the edge of the world. So this is our descent down to the road. As you can see, it's much easier and much safer than the way we came up. Yeah. Lord Hereford's knob is going to have to wait for another day. Can't believe I just said that on the internet. I then stopped to take in the views one last time before making our way down. So now that Winston's out of the deep snow and he can run, or so I thought, he is absolutely not yet. I mean, he's stuck in deep snow again now, trying to get through it. But when he hits the grass, because he can move quicker, he's almost had like little mini zoomies, because he's had such a long time of struggling to move through deep snow that as soon as he hit the grass, he was just gone. He was like, oh hey, I can run again, I can move again. Walked all along there, down this bit, and rejoined the road. Although we're going to walk down this side bit. But them views are still incredible, aren't they? Look at them, look at that. It fills my heart. That's the only way I can explain what these type of views do to me. It just can't explain the feeling. But anyway, Winst, let's continue down here. Come on then. I'm feeling really good right now. I think it's because we made it down safely. If I was to have like an objective review of that walk, shouldn't have done it with Winston. It wasn't suitable for him. For some reason, when I was going up and I just saw snow, I just thought it's just going to be snowy at the top. We can walk through snow. Never in a second thought that it would be deep enough to swallow him, and that there would be times I'd just see his little head poking out over the snow and I'd have to fish him out. Obviously it doesn't harm him, it just makes it very difficult and very tiring for him to move through it. He's 12 years old, he doesn't want to be jumping constantly through deep snow. So that's why we had to take a bit of a shortcut to come back, but at the same time we couldn't go down the way we went up, because for me I think that was just too steep, too slippy and too dangerous to be going down for him and for me. So yeah, in hindsight it wasn't suitable for Winston, but we got through it. None of us are injured, and we're safely now on the road back home, and lessons were learned. He thoroughly deserves that treat. He's got a duck's neck and some sprats. So I've just had lunch and I'm now sat in the pod about to start work. And look at the weather, look at this sunshine. It's hard to believe that earlier today, not more than a few hours ago, Winston and I were walking around in snow.